Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, please do me a favor and subscribe. It would really help us out. Now, let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. Really excited today. I've got the president and founder of Doors of Change, Jeffrey Sitcov. So, welcome, Jeffrey.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you. This is such a worthwhile cause, and I'm just thrilled to get a chance to talk about it. Before we do, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I grew up in Buffalo, New York. I'm a diehard Buffalo Bills fan. I've been in San Diego for 35 years, and I love it, and I'm blessed to be here. And I just been doing this work with homeless kids for now over 20 years.
Yeah, that's amazing and commendable. So tell me a little bit about Doors of Change. What is it? What does it do?
Sure. Doors of Change is a 501c3 organization, nonprofit organization that's been doing this for over 20 years. We have a goal and a mission of getting homeless kids off the streets. And I realized years ago that these homeless youth are invisible. People have no idea they're even around. They look like normal kids, but the reason that they're homeless, Michael, is because they have such dysfunction in their family, that their parents are alcoholics, drug addicts. If they're LGBTQ, which 40% nationally of the kids on the streets are LGBTQ because they get kicked out of their houses. And these kids are gone. They're out of their houses. And, they don't know what to do. And it's not safe, obviously. And once you're on the streets, it's extremely difficult to trust anybody to get off the streets.
Yeah, it sure is. And I love the fact that you work on that trust issue. So you chose to do it through art and music. And I think that's just terrific. It gives you that platform to kind of build that trust, which has to help when you actually want to get into helping them remove themselves from that life.
Yeah. The youth that we work with are the most underserved of the entire homeless population, from 16 years old to 25 years old. They're called the transitional age youth. And these kids have no one. They don't have their parents. They have not the skills to be successful. And so, the biggest thing I saw is that it took months. It took 6 or 9 months for these homeless kids to trust outreach workers that would go on the streets to try and help them. They don't trust anybody. So I said to myself, that's too long. You lose these kids to gang violence, to suicide, to drug overdose. And so what happened is that I just brought a blues group into the shelter over 20 years ago, just for one night, Michael, to give them a little for their soul. The kids went crazy. They were dancing. They were hugging each other. They were having such a great time. The instructor came to me and said, Jeffrey, I've been doing this for over 30 years. I have never seen anything that gets more homeless kids more excited than what you're just doing right now. And then the next morning, we started the music and art program, which is award-winning. It's been going for over 20 years. That's
so amazing. What a great idea. So when you bring somebody in, what is that program like? What are they able to do within the program?
Sure. Well, firstly, we do outreach between 2 times a week to 4 times a week for the last 20 years. We actually go on the streets. I do it. Our staff does it, and volunteers do it. We actually look and find homeless kids. We think they're homeless. We approach them and say, would you like some water? Would you like some would you like some socks, or would you like some munchies or whatever, something to eat? And if you know of anybody that's homeless or disadvantaged, which is one step from being homeless, they're couch surfing to their friend's place until they get upset with them and kick them out. We have a free music and art lessons, which will teach you one of 8 instruments or artwork, and for free. And if you come for 6 times, you can actually earn an instrument of your choice or art supplies. And they look up and go, I can earn a guitar? Yes, then I'm interested in trying. So you want to get them there one time, because I say, listen, give us one shot. If you come one day, you're going to realize whether we're safe or not, whether we're up and up or not. You can tell right away. And so they go in there and there might be 15 to 35 youth in our program, getting lessons, mandolin, ukulele, violin. Violin's a big deal for them. They love violin, guitar, keyboards, drums, harmonica, or art. And so, we even for one class, Michael, teaching these kids one fret on the guitar, one chord on the guitar, the ukulele, mandolin, it's amazing they can start mastering something for the first time. And they start realizing I'm not a piece of garbage like I've been told I am.
Right.
And it really starts helping their self-esteem. And so you see them sit up differently. They start smiling more. They start interacting more. And that's the beginning of the journey. So that's what we start to do. We have laundry for them. So we do their laundry service so that they feel better about themselves, having clean clothes. We give them haircuts if they need it. We give them dinners, home-cooked dinners, and they have clothes and shoes, etc. So they know it's a safe place. That's the most important thing. They know that it's safe.
Yeah, it's what a great idea. And I love the fact that you're not just helping them get off of the street, but you're actually rebuilding them, that confidence that they've lost and helping empower them to become something different. I think that's such a terrific idea. When you started, how did you come up with that idea, or did you get into it just wanting to help and it just kind of evolved over time?
That's a very good question. I happen to be a physical therapist by profession. I practiced for 18 years. At my own practice, I had 17 employees, and I had a spinal cord injury, a freak accident, which stopped me, completely from doing what I'm doing. And that was the beginning of me thinking, what am I going to do now? Do I want to feel sorry for myself, or do I want to actually go out and help someone? And it kept coming back to kids and to youth. And so that's how it started. But it's been, once these kids trust you, because again, they don't trust anybody. And once they trust you, they ask for help, and then we have a full-time case manager who is amazing. Okay. Nicole McDonald is her name. And she is amazing. She's seen up to 70 youth on her schedule in 1 month. That's a lot of kids that she handles.
A lot of kids. Yeah.
Yeah. And, they might need IDs, because unless they have IDs, they can't work and get a job.
Right.
So we get them IDs. We get them medical insurance, Medi-Cal. Okay. And get them on Medi-Cal. A lot of these kids have mental health issues, and especially during COVID, our mental health increased 110% increase from the year before to this year. So we said, we've got to help these kids. And so we actually have worked out a system that we buy a lot of phones or laptops. We give them to the youth that want to get help. We hook them up with a psychologist, psychiatrist, or social worker, the MFCC, MSW, that can actually work with them. And so we pay for all the co-pays, but it's a way for them to start feeling better about themselves, because unless they take care of their mental health, they're not going to succeed.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. So how does Doors of Change? Because obviously all of that requires a lot of finances, money. Where does that come from? How can you afford to help so much?
Again, that's another great question. Listen, my goal speaking today is to touch more than one person, hopefully, to say, I had no idea the severity of this. I want to help. How can I help? People want to help. They just don't know who to trust, what organization to trust. There's a lot of nonprofits. There's 8,000 nonprofits in San Diego. Who do you trust?
That's right.
But when you see the results of what we do, people start trusting. And so it's been wonderful that, the music community, and Billy Joel was the first that trusted me and started to say, listen, I love your vision. Let me start signing keyboards for you. So he started signing keyboards for us. And within 3 months, he was with Elton John. He told Elton John what he was doing. Elton John is a very philanthropic guy. He said, I'll sign a keyboard for them. So having the two of them, when I first started, I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I wanted to help make a difference. And so they came on board with me and started signing stuff for us. And when they came on board, the Rolling Stones came on board, B.B. King came on board, James Taylor came on board, Joe Cocker, Aretha Franklin came on board. Many Buddy Guy, Ella James came on board. Many musicians. But that's one of the ways you raise money. That's one way.
That's
we
amazing.
Sell memorabilia. And people, if they're touched by this, can go to our website, doorsofchange.org. Doors is plural. And they can look at the memorabilia, which is amazing. We have a Billy Joel 7th keyboard on for sale. A Bruce Springsteen signed Born to Run, huge art piece with not only the heat sign, but the whole band sign. So that's one of the ways that we raise money. And we've been able to raise about $900,000 in 20 years to help homeless kids get off the street, just from memorabilia. Another way we raise money is by having concerts, music concerts.
Yeah.
And, we're having actually Three Dog Night, which is a legendary band of the 70s.
Yeah.
And
love Three Dog Night.
So even though you're back east, maybe people say, something, I'm going to come to San Diego for vacation. Come on the 30th of June and come to the concert. If you're in Southern California listening to this, come to the concert and be a part of this. And, you can be a part of it. Say, listen, this is not acceptable to have homeless kids in our community. We want to help these kids. And you come to a great concert. So that's one of the ways we raise money. And we always have one of the youth speak at it, by the way. And that's the highlight of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And
that's terrific.
Yeah. And one thing that people say, I want to do something. I don't know how. Well, you can join our angel team. That means for $11 a month, 1 is angels. And you can join our team. So monthly, you get taken out of your paycheck, whatever, $11. You don't even know it's there. But if 1,000 people do $11 or more, I've got people doing $300 a month. Whatever people can afford is wonderful. That money, 100%, will go to fund programs to get these kids the services they need to get off the streets and be productive citizens.
Boy, I love that so much. And you've been at it for so long now, 20 years. You've got to see some of these kids actually grow up and become productive within society, which has to be really rewarding. And you talked about them coming to speak. Does that happen often? Do you get returnees, let's say, that come and talk about their experience?
Great question, Michael. Every event we've done in 20 years, always the highlight has at least one homeless youth will share their story.
Yeah. Because
I want people to see this is where they were and this is where they are now. And if you want, I can share a story probably of anybody. We've seen over 10,000 youth that we've helped.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And one of them that really touched me the most, her name is Justine. And Justine was homeless because her mom was an alcoholic. Her boyfriend used to beat up Justine, drag her by the hair, and at 12 years old, Michael, started taking her clothes off. And she said, I got to leave this place. And so she went on the streets at 12. She shaved her head so she could blend in with looking like a guy and, joined a gang and was on the streets for 4 years. So when I met her, she was 16. She was on suicide watch for 6 months. She was so bad, she tried to kill herself twice. Once she started saying, she finally looked at me for the first time after 2 months, didn't say a word to me, and looked up at me and said, I want to learn how to play music. That was the beginning. And then after about 2 or 3 weeks, she said, can I join your expressive arts program? I like art. He said, absolutely. So very quickly, the art really took to her, and she just transcended. And this is Justine when she was feeling good. You see, she's still in black. She dressed black all the time, but she's so much better now because now she's got a purpose. Now she loved the art. She started making jewelry, Michael. And that jewelry is what for 12 years got her through college, got her through just everything. While and she was able to be in an apartment, paying for herself, off the streets. And then she after that, she graduated magna cum laude from University of Santa Barbara, California. She joined law school. And this is Justine and I several years later. And she is now 2 semesters away from being an attorney. She's almost finished law school.
What a story. That's incredible.
Yep. And there's many more kids like Justine that we can help together as a community. If people are touched, it's like, does it really make a difference? I mean, I have many stories like this, many youth that are like this, and they're amazing because they're Rocky stories. They really bring hope to other homeless kids, as also for our donors and our community, that yes, you can get off the streets.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm guessing, and you tell me if I'm correct, that if you're bringing kids into an environment where they're doing something joyful, it allows them to interact with other, young adults their age, which is probably something they don't really have, that interaction with peers in a good way. So I think that's probably just looking from the outside in. To me, that's one of the more valuable things that you're providing.
Yeah. They realize that even though these other kids are homeless, they kind of like come together, so they kind of protect each other.
Yeah.
And and they're there because they understand what each other's going through.
Yeah, that's right. And it gives, everybody needs those connections. And I think that's really important that you're helping to provide that. So how do you handle when things don't go as well as you would like? How is that situation handled if you have difficulty with someone? Are you able to adjust what you're doing to continue to help them? How does that work?
Again, that's another great question. We treat everybody as an individual. We meet them where they're at. You have to meet them where they're at. We don't judge them. We're not judgmental on them. They can be who they are. And so because of that, they feel like, I'm not being judged. They're not expecting things from me. And so by having that, loving kind of atmosphere, that's why they go to our case manager. And that's why they say, listen, I want to get off the streets. I want to go into housing. And, last year, when you say how people, the last 2 years has been very difficult for homeless kids because of COVID, because not only are they homeless, Michael, but they have no place to shelter. They have no place to hide from this pandemic. And so, it's been difficult. And we doubled the amount of youth we put into housing last year, doubled.
Wow.
Went from 83 kids, which is a lot of kids to put into housing in 1 year, 83. Last year, 161 kids we put into housing.
That's amazing. That's so terrific. That's terrific. So when they're when you put them into housing, how does that work? Because obviously you're not going to put them in a situation and then not help them navigate. There's things you have to do if you're in a house and do it. Right. How do you help them as far as adjusting to taking care of a house?
Well, we have about 35 partners in our community, 35 agencies that work, around this realm. And so when we find a kid that wants housing, we have a gentle handoff to them. And they have a case manager that works with them. They have, work readiness programs that they get the kids involved in. One of the things we do is we have one of our partners is the California Conservation Corps. It's called the CCC, and the California Conservation Corps pays the youth full-time, minimum wage, but pays them to learn how to do culinary arts, how to do forest restoration, how to be a forestman, how to be able to do salmon restoration, how to do carpentry, all these different, trades. Yeah. They teach them and they pay them at the same time. So this way they can save some money. And so
I love that.
Trade.
Yeah. So they're then they can kind of save for their own future. That's really terrific. So you've been doing this now for a couple of decades. Has working with young adults and with these type of situations, has that taught you anything?
What I've learned is that when you are doing service, truly in service, being in service, and it isn't about me, it's about helping them. The more you take your eyes off yourself, the more you really want to help these youth. They get it. Because if it's for you, or they can see right through you if you're not being authentic. And so what I learned is that, it's just really great to be humble and to do this. I'm a servant. And so as long as I'm a servant, I'm not the head guy, even though I am. It doesn't matter because that's not what's important. What's important is helping these youth feel comfortable, and all that we do is centered around what can we do to help them to get be self-sufficient and to really become, citizens that they can be proud of. And so that's what it's really taught me. It isn't about me, it's about helping them. And thank God that we have so many amazing staff members. We have an amazing program director, Joanne Newgard. She's amazing. The kids love her because they can see that it's all love, And Reed Mulby is our COO, but he also helps with these kids, and especially our case manager. This Nicole she's amazing. For her to be able to place 161 youth in housing on her own, it's amazing. She found homes for 161 youth.
Yeah, and that's absolutely incredible and commendable. So what about the future? So going forward, what does Doors of Change look like? Are you planning to expand some of your services?
Yeah.
What will you be doing?
Well, COVID has changed everything. And so for 2 years, we didn't have our award-winning music in our program, but yet we still saw twice as many youth. And so we really do remote outreach. We go on the streets, but many times we don't see the kids because they go underground. They literally hide more with the pandemic. So even though you don't see them, we put up posters everywhere. And we have been very successful of helping these youth that they find us because of the posters. Even though we might not see them initially, once they call us and call Nicole, then she'll talk to them and they'll feel comfortable with her, and she'll actually meet them face to face. And so one of the things we're doing is expanding our remote outreach. We actually helped 13 different states this year. We've never done this before. Kids call us from Colorado, from Arizona. They hear about us. We have a Facebook page for homeless youth that they find, and it's safe, and it's something where they can contact us, and they hear from their friends that they got help from us. And so it's grown to the point where we're busier now than we've ever been. And so we are going to expand and eventually have 2 of the Taking Music and Art to the Streets music and art programs, and eventually 3. But right now we're focusing on whatever we can do during this pandemic to continue to help these youth, and we're getting record numbers of kids. And that's why I say, if people are touched by this, go to doorsofchange.org. Doors is plural. We've got several videos of the kids speaking, and you hear their stories. It's amazing. You'll see Justine, you'll see Tyler, you'll see Matthew, you see a bunch of these youth that tell their stories. And so hopefully people say, how can I help? And then, you make a donation of whatever you can make. If everybody makes a donation, whatever they can make, it's going to help more and more kids, so we can double now and have a second case manager, so we can help even more kids. And so that's pretty much what we're doing. We continue to expand. And now with the remote outreach, other states are coming to ask us to help them, and, the youth in different states.
Yeah, and well, that was my next question. Has your success with this program, inspired other areas to try to duplicate it? Are you having other states trying to adopt this program? But if you have the remote outreach, then you're actually helping put that in place in different states.
Yeah, we're really remote outreach for homeless youth. We're advocates. We're like their parents that they never had.
Right.
We advocate for their life, that we want them to have what they want, which is, to get off the streets, many of them, to be able to get a job, to be able to have it being in an apartment. We help them do that. We're advocates for these youth.
Yeah, I think that's really terrific. Do you provide, especially with that middle teen year group, do you provide a way for them to get some physical activity, exercise or sport, anything like that?
We haven't really focused on that. There's the most important is that we get them the services they need right now.
Of course.
Because once you get them feeling better about themselves and about the mental health, feeling better about themselves, mental health wise, they're going to be more motivated to want to, learn more, go to school, get a job. And that, those are the priorities right now. The others are not as important. It's getting them the priorities that they need once they trust you. And so, but I think it's great to do the sports, et cetera. That's just right now, you can only focus on so much.
That's right. That's right. How about when you have someone come to you and say, I'd like to get into the workforce. I know you're helping with the IDs. Do you help them locate potential, spots for them to work?
Yes, we do. We also have partners that will do that. And the partners that will do that are more specialized in that. Again, our specialty is homeless youth advocates. We really are advocating for these kids where we build trust very quickly with them. And so that we can kind of hand them off to, to different safe partners so they can learn how to do the job training. They can learn how to, to get a safe place to live and to be, so that they're stable, and then they can, take care of the things they need to get a job, et cetera, and to be able to help their mental health. Mental health is huge.
Yeah. That's actually probably the most important part, because if you can rebuild and help somebody with the mental side of it, the rest of it tends to fall into place. So that's really great. That's really great. Jeff, thank you so much. I'm so excited and inspired by what you're doing, and you talk so passionately about it. It's hard not to get that way. So thank you for taking a little bit of time with us.
Yes. I hope that people will take action, because Michael, if they're touched and they don't do anything, nothing has changed.
That's right.
You can be a change maker, so even for $11 a month as an Angel Team. And by the way, the California Angels allowed us to trademark the name Angel Team, and we have a trademark. So that's our name, Angel Team. Be an Angel Team member it's $132 a year. That's not a lot for a lot of people, but if many people do it, or they say, listen, I don't have that, so give $10. It doesn't matter. Do something, because then at least you're being a change maker. You're doing it. Say, listen, you're supporting this organization that if you're touched by what we're doing, so we can get more kids the life that they deserve with hard work. It takes a lot of hard work to be successful. We tell them all the time, you have to work hard, but once you do, you're going to be very happy.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, okay. So last thing, Jeff, before you go, hit us with the website again and the concert date.
Sure. Doorsofchange.org. Doors is plural. The concert date is June 30th, 3 Dog Night. For $48, you can come and get a lawn seat. So that's not a lot of money.
No, it's not.
And you can hear a legendary group that has over 20 songs in the top 40. So we appreciate your help. Go to doorsofchange.org and see some of the interviews of the youth speaking. It's very powerful. And I want to thank you, Michael, for bringing me on to hopefully create awareness with your audience about the homeless youth issue. And I hope and pray that they're touched enough to do something and take action.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This has been a real pleasure. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you.
All right. Hold on one second. What a powerful message and interview. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Jeffrey Sitcov of Doors of Change. Do yourself a favor, learn more about it. Learn more about the issue of youth homelessness, and help out if you can. That's something that, in my opinion, we shouldn't have in this country. We should be able to help our young people and put them in a situation where they can succeed. So all the kudos and commendment that I can give Jeff and the people within Doors of Change. They're doing just an absolutely incredible job. And he mentioned it a few times, but definitely go to the website, check it out, listen to some of the stories. They will absolutely had me in tears, but in a good way, Such a positive organization. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again this week. It means so much to us. You can help us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, MeisterCon Pod. We're really trying to grow those numbers and reach a bigger and bigger audience. So you can help us out with that, MeisterCon Pod on YouTube. You can find, we're closing in on 400 episodes. You can find all of them, audio and video, on our website, meistercon.com. If we're doing anything in studio, if we're going on location, if we're covering a convention, it'll be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so much. I really hope you enjoyed that one today. Till next time. Bye, everybody.